it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, well, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Welcome and thank you for joining us here in Green Bay. We're happy to be in the area and happy to be around the entire United States this year. Almost, save for a couple places. We're bringing all people together for a change on Election Day with a little faith, hope, and love. So we're going to sing a little and talk a little and ask you to sing along with us. You can start right now. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, well, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, well, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, that is Brandon Pfeiffer. He did not have to count that. We knew that was coming. Hey, my name is Doug Padgett, and our little band of Vocom and do-gooders have been traveling all over this country for the last 8 months. Started outside of Washington, D.C.'s White House, and we wanted to send a message to the current inhabitant of the White House. A change is coming on Election Day, and we're glad that you're here with us. We think that faith, hope, and love can bring about a real change on Election Day, and the reason we're doing this, the reason we're traveling around the country and trying to ask people to join us in this common good movement for a change is because there's some things that are happening in this country that don't sit so well with our souls. Now, I don't know about all of you, but there's a few things that we know to be true, and then we're hearing something else. Like, we know it's true that blessed are the poor. But what do we hear from the president? That they come from S-hole countries. Now, here's the thing. I'd love to quote the president, but we like to have some family-friendly events. And it gets really difficult to quote the president of the United States on issues that are of such importance. One of the reasons that we think people are going to be called into the good news and called into the common good is that we want to see a different way of being president, including a different president himself. Now, look, we also know it's true that blessed are those who mourn. But what do we hear? People are dying. It is what it is. Is that what you've been taught? Is that what you've been told? Is that what you want to tell your children? That that's the level of empathy we can have in this country? We've been told that blessed are the meek. Yet what do we hear? I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue. We have been told, we know that it's true, that if we hunger and thirst for righteousness. But what do we hear? Oh, there's very fine people on both sides of significant racial division in this country. We have heard, blessed are the merciful. We know that's what's true. But what do we hear from this president? I would like to punch someone in the face. We have heard it's true that if you are pure in heart, that you will find the kingdom of God. But what do we hear? I'll grab that, and you can't even finish quoting the president. We know that blessed are the peacemakers, but here's a man who says, I will bomb the life out of them. We know that if you seek first the kingdom of God, then you can care for the needs of all. And what do we hear? If you don't vote for me, you're going to be so poor. So we have some choices to make in this country. Now, I'll tell you, this is the first time that me as a pastor has ever gotten together with a group of friends and traveled for 10 months around this country to ask people to stop the re-election of a president. I've never felt the need to do it in my life. But right now, we're not just talking about a president of the United States. We're talking about the future of a country. I really believe that what we are facing right now is a moment where this country is going to decide who we're going to be. Look, we all know that all of us have made great mistakes in our life, and we don't want to be held to our greatest mistake. And I believe that this country made an error November of 2016, and we don't need to hold this country against itself. What we need to say is, can we, will we, how will we be a different country moving forward? Now, it can sound like we're traveling around the country just picking on old Donald Trump, or that we're here to convince you that Donald Trump is a problem. We like to say, look, Donald Trump is like a self-cleaning oven. The man does all the work for you. You don't have to spend any time convincing someone that he's not fit for the job. What we have to do is remind one another and call each other to wake up and speak up and act up when it comes time to vote on Election Day. And I'll tell you, as a pastor, I believe that every person is a beloved child of God, the light of the world, the salt of the earth, nothing you can do about it. But not every light of the world should be the President of the United States, and this man has shown that he's totally incapable of fulfilling this job. So we want to invite you today, whether you're watching online or you're here, to text that phone number, 66866. That'll get you on our email list. We'd love to be in touch with you. We want to send you out today with some resources to help you engage, because I don't know about the rest of you, but I find it pretty hard sometimes to talk to my neighbors and friends and family about these things. It's just hard to bring it up, because what this president has done is to divide this country in such a way we don't even know how to talk to each other. In fact, if you're anything like me, you find yourself wandering around your family room or living room just babbling to yourself about you don't know what's happening in this country anymore. So we want to give you some resources, some help, and a community to be involved in. We've been traveling around the country, and we know that there are people all over who are looking for more love in politics, who are looking for more goodness in their political life, and are looking for different kinds of candidates. So you're going to have a chance to hear about two candidates that are running right here in the Green Bay area, somebody that's running for Congress and somebody that's running for the state assembly. You're going to hear from them today, and this is going to be a great time. So text your friends, tell them that we're live on the live stream. And they're going to want to get on right now. I'm going to give you a minute to do that and have them go to votecommongood.com to watch this on the live stream, because you're about to hear from Genesis B. Genesis B is many things. She is a rapper. She is an artist. She is a poet. She is a musician. And she is, for us, the poet laureate of the Vote Common Good community. So, ladies and gentlemen, Genesis B.
Woo! Yeah. Mic check. Power button. Check. What's up, y'all? How's everybody feeling today?
Here we go.
Can make a little noise. Yep. That's right. I need a little energy. So I am a hip hop artist from Mississippi. Been traveling around the nation with this group, just sharing my words, sharing my poetry. My work online is kind of controversial. I see that we have some younger folks in the audience, so I'm going to keep it clean as possible for y'all. All right. If Trump disappeared today, what would America do? Would we still have all this Twitter commotion? Would America still worship money? Would we still pollute the oceans? Would we still imprison black men and shoot them down with no emotion? Would women still be the smartest in the room and still get passed up for promotions? What would America do if Trump no longer exists? Would we still destroy our planet for profit? Would we still have private prisons, the new slave trade and auction? Would men still write laws dictating what women do with our bodies, stripping away anatomical autonomy? Ooh, that's a tongue twister. Would we still shame women who use sex as commodity, but not shame men who buy sex in pornography? Would we still turn a blind eye to all this hypocrisy? What would America do if it was up to you? Would you finally purge law enforcement of white supremacist bigots? Would we finally have equal rights for poor whites and immigrants? Would preachers still use the pulpit to pimp our communities? Will boys still be boys, raping and assaulting with impunity? Would we still ignore the killing of trans folks? Because this is where America stands, folks. To know what would America do, we ask, what has America done? Well, for one, we massacred our native populations. From the blood of black slaves, we created the richest of nations. We waged war before we cried wolf with terrorist threats. You remember weapons of mass destruction? You remember that? Yeah. So crazy how quickly we forget, y'all. I've seen America burn crosses on the lawn of my father. I've seen America separate mothers and toddlers. I've seen America vote for men whose only moral is money. Men who appeal to the sexism and racism of my beautiful Christian country. So we search for a savior to save us from the big orange goblin. Some magical Democrat that can solve all our nation's problems. But Trump is just a symptom of a money-hungry system that never had regard for our troops or regard for the truth, no regard for the planet, and no regard for the youth. Trump was born into this, just like you and I. Trump is as American as apple pie. So I won't ask, what would America do? We know what America's done. Instead, I ask, what can America be if we step up in the days to come? Thank you. Can America be one nation under God, indivisible? Can true freedom and compassion be our core principles? A place where pharmaceutical riches do not result in more sickness, where corporations have constraint and cannot buy our politicians, where the money we use to wage war goes to healing Mother Earth or building houses for the poor. It's just a thought, y'all. A place where all synagogues are safe, where Muslim brothers and sisters and siblings are looked upon with grace, where young girls can walk the streets without being harassed because young boys are taught to understand the traumatizing effect that has. So what can America be? A place where someone who looks like me and loves like me can finally feel safe and free? Where Black and brown women are not minimized and the image of us outside reflects the power of our insides, our potential, our resilience, our imagination, and our brilliance. Because my ancestors fought for me to have a voice. They fought for me to have a vote. So I talk my ish and I cast my ballot. I honor them by doing both. Because they knew what America could be, but it starts with you and it starts with me, because although he spews lies and his actions show cowardice, assigning that much power to any man will eventually render you powerless. So don't ask, what would America do? Ask, what can America be? And the answer to that question, my friends, is solely up to you and me. Thank you. I'm Genesis B, y'all.
Hey there, I'm Daniel Dietrich. So glad to be with you here in Green Bay.
All right, Dan.
So I grew up in a Christian home, beautiful Christian home, and I learned to take the words of Jesus seriously. And so the past 4 years have just been very confusing for me to see so many good Christian people throw their weight behind a man who we've heard say and do things that we can't even mention with the kids around in a park like this. And I was trying to come up with a metaphor for the election that's coming up. We've got Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and some folks aren't as excited about Joe Biden. We went from the most diverse group of candidates to a contest between two old white guys. And that has left a number of people feeling left out and discouraged. But I really don't think this is a contest between the lesser of two evils. And the best metaphor I can come up with is, on one side we've got a guy holding a gas can, and on the other side we've got a guy holding a fire hose, and the country is on fire, and we have to choose one or the other. And to me, the choice is clear. And I'm hoping that as we go around the country and we talk to people of faith, that we'll continue to spread faith, hope, and love for a change on Election Day. And so this is a song that I wrote to my brothers and sisters, 81% of whom voted for Donald Trump in 2016. And so this is called Hymn for the 81%. I grew up in your churches, Sunday morning and evening service, and knelt in tears at the foot of the rugged cross. You taught me every life is sacred, feed the hungry and clothe the naked. I learned from you the highest law is love. And I believed you when you said that I should trust the words in red to guide my steps through a wicked world. I assumed you'd do the same, so imagine my dismay when I watched you lead the sheep straight to the wolves. You said to love the lost, so I'm loving you now. You said to speak the truth, so I'm calling you out. Why don't you live the words that you put in my mouth? May love overcome, injustice roll down. Oh, they started putting kids in cages, ripping mothers from their babies, and I look to you to speak on their behalf. Oh, but all I heard was silence, or worse, you justified it, singing glory, hallelujah, raise the flag. Well, your fear turned to hatred, but you baptized it with language torn from the pages of the good book. You weaponized religion, and you wonder why I'm leaving to find Jesus on the wrong side of your walls. And you said to love the lost, so I'm loving you now. You said to speak the truth, so I'm calling you out. Why don't you live the words that you put in my mouth? May love overcome, injustice roll down. Come home, come home, you're better than this, you taught me better than this. Come home, come home, you're better than this, you taught me better than this. Come home. Come home, you're better than this, you taught me better than this. Come home, come home, oh. You said to love the lost, I'm trying to love you now. You said to speak the truth, so I'm calling you out. Why don't you live the words that you put in my mouth? Me love overcome, injustice roll down. Me love overcome, injustice roll down. Injustice roll down. May love overcome, injustice roll down. Thank you so much.
And that guy's name is Dietrich, by the way. And if you're interested in that song, it's on YouTube. He made it about 8 months ago, put it up, and there are, as of yesterday, 673,000 views of that song, because it taps into something that we know is happening in all of us. And not only that song, but that wonderful metaphor that if the country's on fire, we have one candidate with a gas can and another one with a fire hose. Here's the thing, one fire hose isn't enough to put it out. There's no president that can solve this problem alone. But the president shouldn't be the problem, for sure. But no one president can solve all the problems that have been created in this country, not only in the last 4 years, but over the time that we've been a country. These are systemic problems that we all need to solve, that all of us need to work on, that all of us need to fight for. That's one of the reasons that we're so glad that there's a political movement among citizens, and that in this country, people are also saying that they're not only not satisfied with who's in the White House, but they're not satisfied with who are in the State House, and sometimes not satisfied with who's in Congress. And that brings me to Amanda Stuck, who is not satisfied with the people that are in Congress right now. So we're going to introduce her in a moment. So come on up, Amanda, and I'm going to give you your very own, what we like to refer to as a shower cap, that you get to put on that microphone right over there. Yeah, and we try to find ways to be COVID responsible as we're out traveling around the country. And Amanda has offered herself to be a candidate for office. Now, I got to tell you, it's hard enough traveling around the country for just, 8 or 9 months, talking to people about politics when you want someone else not to become the candidate. You know what's really hard is stepping out all by yourself and saying, not only should you not vote for the other guy, you should vote for me. That's a tough thing. That is a tough thing to do, and Amanda is somebody who has stepped up to do it. Amanda is someone who has said, hey, you know what? I'm not just going to be somebody who complains about the problem. I want to be someone who does something about it. Now, she's been doing this in the state assembly already. So, Amanda, we appreciate that. Now, I'm a Minnesotan, but I do appreciate the good work that you've been trying to do in the state assembly for the good people of Wisconsin. And thank you for running. And would you say a few words about why the good people here should be voting for you on Election Day?
Sure, absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for coming out. So often when I talk at these things, right, somebody either gives my bio or I talk about my bio, how I'm in the state assembly now, how I have a master's degree from UW-Oshkosh, or all those other factual things. One of the things I don't normally mention as part of my background or titles is that I'm actually the daughter of a minister. So my mom is a minister in the United Church of Christ. And so it often bothers me quite a bit when people seem to claim that faith has a party affiliation, because I know that that simply is not true. And I've knocked on doors and people will tell me, oh, well, I'm a Christian, so I'm a Republican. And I often wonder why they assume that having faith automatically means you belong to the Republican Party. Because I will tell you quite frankly that I am a Democrat, and I got into politics and ran for office in large part because of my faith background, because I learned in church about feeding the poor and taking care of my neighbor. Yep. I read the line, whatever you've done unto the least of these, you've done unto me. And I take that seriously. And that is why the policies I support and the values that I bring to government are really about taking care of each other, loving our neighbors, protecting the resources that God gave us and created. So for me, what I do really is so much about those same values. Now, my mom and I have talked quite a bit about how being a minister and being a public servant in elected office are quite similar sometimes. How people will kind of laugh at your ideas or your values or tell you that they aren't serious values to have. But what we see today truly shows how important it is that we have people in office that truly do have those values and do care about other people. Yeah. I decided to run for this office when I received a constituent from a man named Len, whose wife had just survived breast cancer. And they weren't sure what they were going to do if the Affordable Care Act goes away, because they won't be able to get insurance. And even if they can, it will be so expensive that they really won't be able to afford it. And he had written to me, he had written to Mike Gallagher as his representatives in the State House and in Congress. And when I called him when I got that letter, he said, I heard back from you, but I never heard a word back from Mike Gallagher. And that was really the day I decided to run, because it is completely unacceptable to me to have a representative who would get a letter like that and not even be able to explain their vote to their constituent. At the very least, your constituents deserve answers, they deserve responses. And so I'm committed to being a representative who will always show up, who will listen, who will answer you, and to make sure that your voice is the only one that really matters in Washington. So thank you so much.
Where is this justice? The justice we need. Oh, where is this justice we all want to see? And when I marched in the street, well, I began to see, I saw the justice we need is the justice that needs me. Where is the healing we need? Tell me where is the healing we all want to see? And when I turn on my TV, I see so much disease. I see the healing we need is the healing needs me. Where is the peace that? Where's the peace that we need? Tell me where is the peace that we all want to see? And so I phoned an old friend. I said sorry for the grief. I said the healing we need is the healing that needs me. And I said the peace that we need is the peace that needs me. And I know the justice we need is the justice that needs me.
Hey, that is such a good song. Brandon didn't say this, but he wrote that. Like, he was invited to be a part of a effort to try to stop the death penalty, and they asked him for a song, and he wrote that one a couple of weeks back. So that's the kind of thing that we need in this world, people saying some new songs, singing some new songs. Now, we were supposed to be here in this park on Saturday. Maybe some of you got that message, and you were here on Saturday in the rain. But we got all rained out on Saturday, and that meant that some people couldn't be with us. But because we're here today, it means that some people can be here with us. Like, some of you maybe couldn't have been here on Saturday, but you could be here today. Well, we just heard from Amanda Stuck, and she wasn't going to be able to be with us on Saturday, but she could today. And then Kristen Lyerly, who was supposed to be here today running for the state assembly, couldn't be here today because she's a doctor out doing her good work on call. But she sent her son, which I think is one of the greatest things going. When you send your son to do your contact work, it's like the gospel coming to life here when the son gets sent to do the work. So go ahead. Did we give you one of these little mic covers? Well, we're not done with you yet, my friend. We're gonna... like I'm doing a magic trick. So this is Abraham Lyerly. Abraham, tell us why it is that you're supporting your mom, and not just because she's your mom, but why it is that you're supporting your mom and why the rest of these good people should do the same.
Mic check? Hey.
Hey.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
My name is Abraham Lyerly. I am the oldest son of and the campaign manager for Dr. Kristen Lyerly. who is running for Assembly Seat 88 against Representative John Mako. I was born in Madison. I completed high school right here in De Pere, and I'm currently studying music education at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point. This is to illustrate that I have lived in Wisconsin for my entire life. I am supporting my mother, and I am here talking to you today because I am very confused. For my entire life, I have known Wisconsin to be a community. I have known Wisconsin to care about itself, and I have known Wisconsin to be completely filled with people who respect the nature around them, the clean water that we all use for swimming and fishing, the plentiful land that we use for farming, that we've built so many livelihoods off of. And I am confused. When I was 11, I watched as our representatives gutted unions, began to systematically defund public schooling, and I watched as they destroyed the prevailing wage. When I was 11, I watched as Wisconsinites advocating for their rights and the rights of labor were ignored by the representatives that they had put in place and branded as rioters. When I was 13, I watched as our representatives turned down Badger Care expansion, which was already provided for in the budget provided by the federal government in the ACA. Turning this down denied health coverage to 85,000 Wisconsinites. I watched them do it again when I was 15. I am confused because I have lived two contrasting and opposed Wisconsin existences. The first Wisconsin I see in front of me right now, and it is the Wisconsin that I love. It is people coming out to support their community. It is people who care and people who will stand up for people around them. It is people who love Wisconsin. The second Wisconsin is not at all like that. The second Wisconsin does not work. It has been 150 days since Wisconsin legislature has passed a bill. The second Wisconsin does not listen to experts. The second Wisconsin does not take leadership or responsibility. At the start of this pandemic, Representative Mako, while addressing concerns about restaurant reopenings and shutdowns back in March, said, and I quote, "I would liken it to Darwinian theory. That is to say, survival of the fittest." I'm confused because when I think of Wisconsin, I don't think of survival of the fittest. I think of this. I think of kids at a playground having fun. I think of a group of people coming together to support their community, a group of people who cares about each other. I think about this. I am so happy that everyone here has decided to come together and say that we can't continue to live like this. We cannot continue to have a Wisconsin that is being run on the ideals of survival of the fittest. That is why I'm here talking today, and that is why I'm supporting Dr. Kristen Lyerly. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Abe. Man, I've been confused too. Sounds like the good people of Wisconsin are confused and frustrated, just like the rest of the country. I wrote this song. I've been a worship pastor for the past 12, 13 years or so. And I've been confused as well because the God I know and the God I was taught to know looks a lot like Jesus. And the God I see so many people today worshiping doesn't look like Jesus. Looks like hate and fear and bigotry and racism and white supremacy. And so I wrote this song as a reminder of what we really think God is like. I've seen your name used as a weapon. I've seen your name used to wound. I've seen your words bent and twisted. This God looks so unlike you. All the law, all the prophets, everything you ever taught us, right here if we only have eyes to see. Your name is love. Your name is beauty. Your name is good news for the broken and the hurting. Your name is hope. Your name is mercy. Your name is justice for the powerless and hurting. Your name is love. The image of the invisible and holy. We know the Father because we've known the Son. You came to free those religion had imprisoned and show the world your all-inclusive love, love, love. Oh, all the law, all the prophets, everything you ever taught us, right here if we only have eyes to see. Oh, your name is love. Your name is mercy. Your name is good news for the broken and the lonely. Your name is hope. Your name is beauty. Your name is justice for the powerless and hurting. Your name is love. Your name is mercy. Your name is good news for the powerless and hurting. Your name is love. Your name is beauty. Your name is justice for powerless and hurting. Your name is love. Thank you so much. Go back to my good friend Genesis B.
Oh, that was lovely. Lovely. That was the first time I've heard that song, actually. Is that new? It's pretty new. Once again, my name is Genesis B. I am a poet, hip-hop artist, and activist from Biloxi, Mississippi. For the last 5 years, my activism has revolved around the issue of removing the Confederate emblem from the Mississippi state flag. Thank you. I'm very proud to announce that as of June 30th, 2020, Mississippi removed that flag, and we will have a new flag come November that does not have a white supremacist symbol emblazoned on it. So I'm really proud of that. And I just wanted to share that with you all because I bear witness that change is happening. And sometimes it's hard for us to see the change because we're so close to the issues. But if change can happen in Mississippi, it can happen across America and across the world. Because Mississippi is a microcosm of our nation. Police exoneration and mass incarceration. Black and brown bodies a commodity. Mothers separated from babies, border policy. It's like our White House is painted in the Klan's ideology and our leadership is exploiting white poverty, keeping us separate and divided, gay versus straight, white versus black, based off of fear, far from the facts. See, I hail from a state called the mighty Mississippi. It's the land of unsolved murder mystery. I'm triggered by the trauma in my own family history. Because my dad was only 5 when a Klan drive-by bust bullets into his house with 6 children inside. On the back of the truck, a Confederate flag flying high. And these are the truths that some choose to deny. See, Mississippi, like America, eats your child and mine. The white supremacist lies, a prison of your own design. Some have forfeited their own humanity in order to deny mine. Because white supremacy is a lie. Some have accepted it. A Confederate curse they inherited. Bigotry is blinding, and your fear of the other has blocked your own blessings from your sisters and brothers. Outrage, fatigue, I'm screaming, I can't breathe. From the top, it trickles down, from our judges to police. Because the illusion of freedom is far more dangerous than any jail cell or cramped cages. Yes, Mississippi is a microcosm of my nation, where cowards replace white sheets with fake avatars, repeating their parents' folklore, tooth fairy, Santa Claus, the history's whitewash. Google black codes and bylaws. In the comment section, sound off, sound off. Lord, they sound off, don't they? They call me the N-word, a B, and the like. Well, call me whatever you like, because I've been through worse in this fight, and the hatred in your words just proves that I'm right. Because Mississippi is a microcosm of a country that always needed me but never wanted me. My melanin and skin is a sin sentence to build your economy. Pack the prisons, fill the quota, make us felons, never voters. Travel bans and deportation, killer cops, no resignations. Just federal indictments and mock trials. You see, my heart bleeds as the billboard reads, "Make America white again," as my favorite rapper concedes. Kanye. But still, I love America. I do. Because I have hope. Some choose to jump ship and some steer the boat. See, I know that love and humanity lives in the smile of every child, in the heart of every kid. So be brave enough to break the curse. We need you at the polls, out in droves, fighting against the bigots you oppose. Study law, run for office, make a call, write your Congress. Use your voice and choose a march. Malcolm's gone, grab the torch. Yeah. Read a book or write a rap. Just speak with truth and deal with facts. Because freedom and justice are under attack. Alt-right affiliation of Trump's administration. Confederate infiltration, neo-Nazis showing faces. Just fueling the fear and the hatred while expanding their corporations. Do you see now how Mississippi is a microcosm of my nation? I'm Genesis B, y'all. Thank you. Yeah.
We're really glad to have you all with us here today. Our final bit for the night is we like to do this Love and Politics Pledge. Now, Love and Politics Pledge, in some ways, one of the most important things we're asking, because we've been spending a lot of time talking about candidates, those that are running for office, those that are in office and need to be removed from office. And again, I hope that all of you will join your vote together and do what we can to make sure that this president's got to go on Election Day and that he leaves on Inauguration Day, that we send that message very clearly all across this country. Now, we've been doing a little polling as an organization of especially Christian voters in Wisconsin and in Michigan and in Pennsylvania and in North Carolina and Florida, these 5 swing states. Now, some good news in those polls. The good news is that more than 11% of Catholics and evangelicals who did not vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016 say that they're going to vote for Joe Biden in 2020. Now, that's a huge shift. It's a major push, but this is no time to quit. Now, I'm in Wisconsin where we can use this metaphor. We tell it all the time in Minnesota, that when your car gets stuck in the snow and you start to feel yourself trying to get out of that snowbank and you're rocking and you feel yourself just getting deeper and deeper and you need someone to help push your car out, well, that's where the country is. We've gotten ourselves buried all down and we're stuck. but the voters of this country are going to come behind, and we're going to start to push. And you know how it works. You start to rock that car, and just about the time when that car is going to rock out of that ditch, everybody says it together, right? Gun it and push. And everybody has to push at that last moment. Now, we're 49 days away from this election. So even though the car is starting to rock out of this ditch, we've all got to push right at the end. So this is the time for all of you to wake up and speak up and stand up and go home with a yard sign that we've got back here. Put it next to a Lyerly sign, or put it next to a Stuck sign, or put it next to a Biden sign, or take one of the faith not fear, hope not hate, love not lie signs. Put it all alone in your yard and make a statement. I'll tell you another thing we've got at that table back there before we do our Love and Politics pledge, and that's a postcard campaign. We're super excited about this. You can't really go door to door right now because we're all real nervous about COVID. So you don't want to walk up to a stranger's door. But you know what you can do? You can go mailbox to mailbox, and here's how. Back at that table, there's a set of 15 postcards. They have a Christian message on one side that asks the person to not vote for Donald Trump, and on the back, there's a place for you to write like a regular postcard, your own personal message, the address of a person, and you put a stamp on it. Now, included in that packet of 15 postcards are 15 high-propensity faith voters in Wisconsin. So we want you to personalize a postcard and send it to them. And if that's not enough, then go to votecommongood.com and order another batch of 15. Order 15 batches of 15. Get 15 friends together. Start having some parties for the next 49 days where you go mailbox to mailbox with the most frequent voters who might not have anyone else in their life reminding them that their faith calls them to the common good and election day and to being done with this president and electing the kind of people, the Congress and the state assembly that we need. So we'd love to help you with that. So you can pick that up back there. Maybe you're also going to pick up one of these Love and Politics pledge cards. Now here's what the Love and Politics pledge is about. It's about voters. It's about voters saying that they're going to make these 4 commitments. That you will call on all elected leaders. That includes Representative Strzok. That's going to include State Assembly Person Lyerly. That you call on all leaders to comport themselves in ways that are consistent with love in their political and professional lives. If they're going to ask you for your vote, you can ask them to act in a way of love. Secondly, that you will lend your support verbally or in other ways to every leader who does so. Now, you may not vote for all of them, but any leader who comports themselves in a way of love, that you'll say that you stand with them when they act in a good way. And that you will stand up to any political official who does not comport themselves in a way of love, whether they're in your party or not. We can't become partisan when it comes to love and politics. We got to get behind love every time and support those and call them to be following in a way of love, and you'll support them when they turn their ways around. And then lastly, that you will ask each politician to stand up to other politicians when they don't act in a way of love. So no more of this, well, I wouldn't tweet it that way. And then on the back of that card, so those are the 4 commitments we asked from you. Then on the back of that card, we have this definition of love that comes from 1 Corinthians. We really like it. Say it together with us here. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy, and love does not boast. Love is not proud, and love does not dishonor others. Love is not self-seeking. Love is not easily angered. Love keeps no record of wrongs. Now, if you know why we picked all these passages, not just because they're beautiful passages in the book of 1 Corinthians, but we've got some politicians that seem as if they're doing the opposite of love every single day that they're in office. And it goes on. Love does not delight in evil, but love rejoices with the truth. And love always protects, and love always trusts, and love always hopes, and love always perseveres. That's why we think it's a pretty good idea to get a little more love in our politics. So thanks for being with us today. Thanks for all that you do. And we'd love for you to join together in this movement for faith, hope, and love to bring about a change on Election Day here in Green Bay, here in Wisconsin, and here in the United States of America. So thanks for being with us. Have a great night.